Good morning, my dear students. Welcome you all back to our social class. We are dealing with the civics chapter, that is outcomes of democracy. So, in this chapter, previously we saw many things like why democracy is important, how to assess democracy, how it is accountable, responsive, and legitimate towards the people. In previous class, we saw that economical growth and development of a nation which is democratic and non-democratic. If you see, they have given a status, that is, if you consider all democracy and all the dictatorship for the past 50 years, they are saying that the economical growth in dictatorship is comparatively higher than the democratic form of an government. So they say economical growth that is happening in the dictatorship form of government only. So we should concentrate on that. And economical development depends upon several factors, which I told you even in the previous class. That is, it includes the country's population, it includes the global situation, how it is, and it also comprises of the cooperation formed with the other countries, how they are cooperative with each other. And next thing is economical priority that has been given. If you see USA is being considered as an economically well-fledged country because it has an economical high status. So it is included as economical priority nation. Okay, so today's topic is about the reduction of inequality and poverty. So inequality is prevailing in all the places you can find. And similarly, about poverty, you might have studied in your 9th class. Poverty as a challenge chapter, how the poverty is been existing in our nation, how it has been viewed by different peoples, and how the philosophers, how the scientists are been giving importance about poverty, and how USA is World Bank is measuring the poverty of a person, and how India is been considering its poverty people. All those things you might have studied in 9th standard. If you see inequality, the development is happening in the democratic form of a government, but you can find that the development that is comparing, as we saw previously, comparing to the non-democratic country, the economical growth is reduced in a democratic form of a country, even though the country is achieving economical growth. Definitely the country is achieving some economical growth. Wealth that is being distributed in such a way to all the citizens to live a better life. Its economical growth is comparatively good, but it is not satisfying all the people's need. Okay, so because of that, you can find the inequality that prevails over there. Okay, ma? So the increase in inequality among the people happens because of the economical growth in the democracy. Okay, and do democracy lead to such kind of things, or democracy is giving only good and opportunity to the others? That is what we are going to see. We see, first thing is that democracy are based on the political equality. Yes, they say it is democracies are based on the political equality. All Indians or all the individuals have equal weight in representing, in selecting their own representatives as MLAs, MPs and others. Okay, by even in that parallel you can see that the process of being or process of bringing individual into a political area, political arena, can find the equal footsteps are there. Everyone are participating in equally. We can find that the economical growth, even though it is unequal, you can find the participants, they do participate in the selecting their own representatives. In small number of ultra rich people, ultra means the bigger and richer people have the high opportunity to see their own people who are being represented, nominated. That is also happening. Not only in one place you can find this happens. There is a share of total income that is happening in India. right? The income is not from one particular sector, not from one particular person. It is from agriculture sector, it is from the primary sector, that is agriculture, and secondary sector and tertiary sector. All gives the total income to the nation. Only then the total income of the nation has been calculated. You can find all the individuals have equal weight in electing their representative. That is first thing that you can see. And next thing, if you see here, is that it is going to share the income of everyone. So those, even though if it is sharing, the bottom of the society have little to depend upon. Yes, the bottom of the people means the lower, that is inequality people, poverty people, poor people have to depend upon some another. Their income has declined because of democracy. Few people have income has increased because of democracy. That is also acceptable. Sometimes they find it difficult to meet their even basic needs. That is also happens. You might have studied in your lower classes, that is about 9th standard, poverty as a challenge, where it is explaining about the poverty that is existing, how it is existing, and all those study you might have gone through. If you have not, please go through it. Okay. Yet democratically elected government do not appears. So it is just not looking or good for everyone. But it, in some situation, you can find it is better than these situation. The situation is much worse in some other countries. If you see the other countries, no, still they are following democratic form of government, or they may follow non-democratic form of government. But you can see they are still more struggling. Like they say, Bangladesh is one nation which has been struggling, which has half of the population which is under the poverty. And people in several poor countries are now dependent on the rich countries. Even for their food, basic needs, they are dependent on the other nation, which we have to look into. And if you have your book, just you can even see that page number 96, which says you about the world wealth owned by few peoples. So few alone will have the land of their own, but remaining is being given into the other's hand. So this is one important aspect in outcomes of democracy. You see, the next topic is accommodation of social division. India is a nation which has diverse religion, diverse language, diverse culture people, right? Diverse means which they have different types of language speaking, cultural traditional people, all those things you can find. But still you can find India is a nation which has been even trying to accommodate or give space for everyone in the nation. So that is called the accommodation of the social diversity. Okay, so how it is doing? So you can find that democracy leads to peace and harmony, which we have been saying from our lower classes onwards. Democracy has been giving lot of peacefulness to the people, and it is giving harmonious way of living. It will be a fair expectation. Yes, it is the expectation of the common people. Fair expectation. It is not the false expectation. It is the fair expectation which is being accepted by the common people, because all of them are moving towards democratic form of government, because they feel peace and harmony will be provided to the common people, so that they can live a peaceful life. That is why all the nations are moving towards the democratic form of a government. So this has to be noted, which is one very important thing. And we'll go back to the previous chapters, like first chapter where we studied about Belgium. Do you remember, my students? Belgium had successfully negotiated because it had different ethnical population. So democracy usually develops a procedure or a competition among the people to put them into a good aspect and show them in a positive manner. That is how the democracy is functioning. Yes, so that is what happened in Belgium, and Belgium was able to accommodate its own ethical population in all the places, right? So that is one valid example where we can say that the democracy is functioning in a very effective manner regarding the peacefulness and harmonious life of the people. That is one thing. No society can fully or permanently solve the problem of everyone, right? Yes, even Belgium will have small problem which may arise. Even India, which had so many group of people, so many sections of the people we have, even in that you can find small problem that will be arising, but it cannot be permanently stopped or fully closed. It is not possible at all. Even in the non-democratic form of a government, it is not possible. Here and there you will have some problems. It has to be resolved. Okay, so but it can be clarified, it can be resolved, it can be taken into a solution. So that is the one thing. And you can also find here, in a democratic form of a government, we have a negotiation mechanism to negotiate the different opinions of each other, different practices of each other, different process of following a practice by each other can be discussed, and that can be brought into the common people's arena. Okay, so in a non-democratic form of government, you can find that this won't be existing. It will be like in blind eye to suppress the internal social differences. Definitely it is a king means he, or dictatorship form of a government, or monarchical form of a government, or whatever the non-democratic form of a government, it will try to suppress or put an end to a solution by suppressing or by bringing and control or fire or something like that on the people, right? The next thing you see is ability to handle the social differences, divisions and conflict is only possible in democratic form of a government, as we saw an example of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka used to be a democratic nation, but you can find it has to fulfill the two conditions, where Singala's conditions also should be fulfilled, where you can find the Tamil people's necessity also should be fulfilled. So if you see, the two conditions in order to achieve the outcomes of democracy has been brought out. So that is, it is essential to understand the democracy. What is the first thing? It is essential for us to understand the democracy. It is not a simple rule, but it has a major opinion. It is a major opinion is present in that. It is, we need to understand it. We are in the necessary to understand what is democracy, and as we are thinking it is very simple. It is not simple. It has a major opinion of its own. So majority always needs to work along with the minority. That means, if an, for example, in Sri Lanka we had the majority Sinhala people and minority Tamil speaking people. Both should work together. Only then a nation can be administrated in a proper manner. So majority and minority's opinion should be considered, and they should be given importance. So majority and minority opinions are not the permanent. They can talk and have a resolution of their own. They can solve their own problems by negotiating. That is the first thing. Second thing, if you see here, is that it is not necessary that the rule by the majority does not become the rule of the majority. See, the same majority is there. For example, Belgium, we had one section which has been majority. If you see Sri Lanka we had the Sinhala as the majority. So Sinhala alone cannot take up the majority administration, because it may affect the other sections. Okay, so they cannot bring laws, rules based on their own wish alone. So that is what been given. You can find it is also necessary that the rule by the majority does not become the rule by the minority community in terms of religion or phase of linguistic groups, etc. Rule by the majority means that in case of every decision or in case of every election, different person and group may come for the majority. That means a person from Shringala also can come as a ruler of majority. A person from the Tamil speaking also can come as a ruler of majority. So that is what is about the second thing. And democracy says it always remains only democracy. Only as long as every citizen has the chance to participate, every citizen take their own majority role in democracy, then only it be considered as a democracy. If someone is barred by bringing the majority on the basis of birth, So if someone says that you are not belonging to this nation, you don't have a democratic right, it is not like that. Everyone has their own birth right. That means if you are born in a democratic nation, you are born with democratic rights. Then the democratic rule ceases. The democratic rule can be seized and to be brought into an accommodation for a person. So whatever might be, if a person or individual person or a group of people are struggling for their own democracy, it is a major role of the government to take up the initiative to bring an accommodation for them. So that is what is democracy is fully about. So this is what is about today's class, my dear students. Remaining we'll see in the next class. Thank you, my dear students.